For P3-12, we're going to introduce midplane and offset from surface for this geometry. So to make it look like this orientation in the model, we're going to sketch on the right plane. And if I was to make this on the front plane, it would kind of be going to the upper right instead of to the upper left. So let's fly that out of the way. We'll grab our new metric part. Said I want to be on the right plane, so I'm going to click on the right plane, open the sketch, and we'll go ahead and draw a rectangle. When I go into the select with a right click, select the origin, hold down the control button, select the line, and make it a midpoint. Going into the dimension, then we have 35 on the width and 30 on the height. And we'll go ahead and let's just, I don't want to do it that way. I want to say we can do the select entities, but we'll stay with the command manager for now. And right click and select. Going to right click and select the midpoint, hold down the control button and select the origin, make that vertical. All right, so what that's going to do when I apply the dimension is make both sides. If I apply the other 10, that's going to give me a driven dimension, which I can see. It's going to be a slightly different color, so darker, lighter. This is going to be the one that if I try to change it, it's going to tell me you have to change that one or you have to change that one because it's doing the math, and the combination of the relation in the two dimensions is giving me the desired result. All right, so 20 on the height. We'll go into the features and extrude. And we have our contour region, so the area that I want to extrude. And I like to see the preview, so I'm going to go ahead and pick in that area. And then under the direction 1 in conditions, we don't have a vertex yet, we don't have a surface yet, and we don't have a surface to offset to yet, and there's no body to work with, but we can do midplane. So even though it shows us these options, and in certain cases we might have a sketch or something that would be generated previously, but in this case we're going to go either blind or midplane, and midplane will go 80 and then accept. All right, so the right plane goes through the center of the part, and we'll open up another sketch. Maybe right plane sketch, I guess I missed, and we're going to go from corner to corner and from point to line is 5 millimeters, and from point to line is 5 millimeters, and then we want to close this off. So let's go ahead and do a convert entities, and I'm going to control select the 3 lines and then convert. So one thing that convert does is it grabs those edges, even though I was picking here or if I was picking here, and it makes it sketch geometry. Now I could leave this as a contour and region, but one nice thing about convert is the endpoints, even though it's showing as being defined, a black point, it isn't really. So I can drag it back to the points. The rest, they're pretty much locked in with the dimensions, and they're not going anywhere, so that does what we need to do. So I can do the math, and 20 on both ends from 80 means that I'll have a 40. So let's go ahead into the features, and we're going to use extruded cut. And if I go blind, I would have to go in both directions 20, I could do midplane for 40. And if I do offset from surface, which is what I want to introduce, we can use the dimension that we have. And each one of these is going to give kind of a different solution if we need to change the overall length. So offset from surface is going to say whatever happens to the length, this edge will always be 20 off of this surface. And I need to do the same thing on the other side. So when we rotate into position, I'm going to go direction 2, offset from surface, pick the surface, scroll down a little bit so we can see our number and 20 millimeters. All right, so we've set up a condition now to where if I double click and I want this to be 120, then rebuild it, it's always going to stay. So in midplane, it would stay at the 40 that we put in. Blind condition in either way would stay at 40. This is going to be building in some logic. And let's see if I do a Control Z, that brings it back. We'll make sure to save it. And oh yeah, I produced videos without sound, so I'm just going to overwrite the P3-12 and make this one good. Okay, one minor issue that I forgot about, since we need to do a save as. I already had this folder, so since technically this folder shouldn't exist, let's go new folder, and I'm going to do A3 as a correction, and then we'll name the file and save it. So you want to make sure to create and keep these separate. It's going to become a little more necessary when we get to the assembly projects and managing the drawings. The more files we accumulate, the more that data management organization is going to come into play.